Welcome back, everybody, to our May 2019 forecast. My name is Jona Brindes, and we're going to look into collective energies and how they affect us as energetically sensitives and empaths, and what we can do to align ourselves to those energies, and maybe what we need to avoid or what challenges we can expect. May is going to be a pivotal month here for 2019. I already said this in April. It's a little bit of a preview of how the next year and a half, 2 years, how that's going to go. But in May, we're going to see the first real manifestations of that. Okay, so there are some critical things that are coming in here through our collective that we are all now aware of. So for, I don't know, a year or two now, one after another, new layers of truths have been revealing itself, be it in politics, be it in financial system, in economy, in environment, you name it. All the social topics that we have shown new layers of deception. And I guess we're now at a point where this is not a prediction anymore, where that has become reality. Nobody really believes in anything anymore. Nobody believes in government. Nobody believes in checks and balances. Nobody believes in that the economy is the self-correcting and expressing sort of the economic laws. Nobody believes that celebrities or media or whatever it is that we used to believe in, that they're based on truth. And that's something that, you know, those whistleblowers and conspiracy theorists, of course, have been announcing for years, including myself. Now it's reality. But at the same time as these things are becoming more and more aware to us, okay, got to understand that what we're truly up against is not really the deception and the brainwashing that's coming in from the outside, guys. That's always been the case. It's like germs, you know, and this is how I typically explain energies to people. Just because you can't see them doesn't mean they're not there. Okay? Humanity's biggest fallacy is the inability to discern truth from deception. It's the fallacy of our ego. It's the duality that our ego gets caught in. And, you know, all this abuse of power that we have been witnessing now is more or less a consequence of that, because, you know, in order to gain power in this world, it's very, very easy to pull people into their own duality, into their own ego. And so that's what we have been manipulated with the very own temptations of our ego within. And those of you who have a sort of a spiritual inclination, it's really the serpent. It's not the dark forces, the serpent that tempts us into our sinning, if you will. I can't even say this word without feeling incongruent, but you know what I mean, right? What tempts us into our ego's duality is the ego itself. It's the narcissistic nature of our ego. It's wanting to be better than others, it's wanting to have more power, having more fame, having more money, being prettier, being, you name it. Those are all dualities, wanting to be right. And this is where we are experiencing all these downers right now. You know, we are realizing that, oh my God, what I used to believe in isn't right at all. Or maybe some of us are still holding on to those. My team, your team, my party, your party, my view, your view. Okay, so it's in the nature of the ego to do that, but that is what we're up against. The agents of the matrix, as some others have called this, you know, like the people who play this on us, are they really responsible for it? I mean, that's just like the discussion with TV or computers or phones or whatever. Is it the phone, you know, that's the temptation, or is it you actually operating it? Okay, so that's something that we have to come to terms with here, at least if we are seeking to find ways to improve our lives, to add meaning to our lives, to live happier lives, more free lives, less manipulated lives, where there's less pain, less suffering, less injustice, less abuse and trauma. So how can we accomplish this if we realize that the condition, the outer condition, namely the collective itself, is basically part of that deception? Well, something that most of you here in the sort of spiritual awakening arena have realized a long time ago. We have to sidestep. We have to find our own truth. We have to learn how to discern truth. And this is really now what is coming in May here. There's going to be some pivotal events that will change our societies, guys, that will really be something, you know, looking into history books. There's a time where everything changed, that we can pinpoint certain time frames where everything changed, eras. So May is going to be pretty big here in that regard. And what is it that is coming in with this? Well, obviously, through these realizations that came in here, through this continual revealing of truth and fake, you know, truth and fake, whatever, news. There's discontent, more and more discontent in people, and this is, it's going to unleash now. Okay, so last month I talked about the beginning of the war of the churches. We unfortunately seen those things here. Those predictions all came through in April. I don't have to recite them. You all know what happened in April to all of our churches, different beliefs, and this is going to continue. We're going to see more terror. We're going to see more of that violence unleashing, especially in May. Also in June, but May is a month where all that repressed injustice and repressed frustration needs to come to an expression. Okay, so not to scare you, but it's a tricky month. It's a difficult month, and we're also going to see some of that in finances. We're also going to see some of that in regards to whatever the power structure is here. There's going to be some things that a couple of years ago we would have never thought be possible. In the United States, there will be things that come to a realization, like the wall, for instance, that we would have never thought would come to a realization. Things about the environment, especially, we never thought would come true. And so in that way, May is a bit frightening because it will make us see truth. So that when we're going to have to suck up. So what is the task here? What can we take out of this for us? There's also a lot of really cool things that are coming in. There's a new level of harmony. And, you know, when I talk about harmony in an energetic sense, we're talking about harmonics, you know, and harmonics, they have to do with octaves, with, you know, like in music. You can play the same theme, but you can play it in a higher level of harmony, a higher octave. And that means a new level of consciousness, a new level of awareness can come in with it. And that happens through learning. That happens through truly understanding that the kind of learning that we need to do now is to realize that the ego mind itself is not a good tool to solve all these social, political, economic, environmental problems. It is not enough. We have to involve our heart and our spirituality. So we're going to see a revival of spiritual sciences. I say revival because some of our countries, some of our collectives actually have a history, have a tradition of that just got somehow through all this evidence-based science momentum here in the last 500 years, it's been suppressed. That's coming forward too, and that's bringing in a lot of solutions for people who couldn't see any way out before. Okay, so it's about deeper learning, going into allowing our heart and our spiritual understanding to fill in these gaps that made us blind before. It's also a new creativity, that the new spirit inspiration is going to come in with this. So you're going to see this in movies and songs and so forth. They're all going to shift. Everything is going to shift into a new way of seeing the world and expressing all that. Okay, so we have all this violence and all the anger and all this drowning in overwhelming in emotions, and people completely freaking out, you know, loss of control. And then we have this new energy that is representing the glue for us between our heart, our mind, and our spirit, and it's really starting to kick in. Okay, and that can bring a whole new level of vitality, a whole new level of optimism, hope, and how we see our own future as individuals and also as collective. So there's new movements that come in through that, which is really, really positive. And again here, guys, this is with all this deception, I just want to like confirm this for you and remind you that just because we didn't see this before doesn't know that it didn't exist. It's always been there. Just because you suddenly realize that there's something like manipulation or abuse behind the scenes doesn't mean it wasn't there before. So realize that your own perception of reality is what the actual limitation is. Okay, so you're going to have to go past those limitations here next month. Move into true vision. Move into how you can truly express what you came here for. And for most of you, especially here within this awakening community, okay, this means that you're going to have to really put in another gear here of going into changing and transforming those things that you've been knowing for a long time, that where you've been prompted all along. And you're suddenly going to see all these failures in the past and seemingly mistakes, what they were there for, how they got you to this place here where you need to be in order to fully express, fully communicate what you truly are, what your passion is, what has been driving you all along. And there's a lot of energy that's going to come with that in a good way. If you can get past this, oh my God, and we are victims, and no, you gotta let that go. Don't watch the news. This whole entire month of May. I mean, I'm not entirely serious about this because you do want to see what's going on, but you don't want to get pulled into that. So don't watch the news in that continual way. Watch the headlines, not even on TV, just on your phone or whatever. You'll get the gist. Okay, understand that this is big. What is happening here? And we now all have to step up. And you know what? With this, we'll see people step up. Billionaires. People from whom we've least expected to say, you know what? I've had it. I'm going to contribute whatever. I'm just pulling this out of there. $10 billion to pay people who can come up with solutions for the environmental crisis that we have. Or I'm going to pay people, or I'm going to form, a foundation that works on finding ways to find a better distribution of resources. We're going to see this, guys, just like how we saw this happen with Notre Dame. Where in the moment of worst devastation and destruction, a whole new energy came forward that mobilized resources to contribute to rebuilding. So in the last energy update here in April, I said, this is a time where we have to take everything apart. It's deconstruction to reconstruct. Okay, so if you want to look at it positively, May is going to be the first month of reconstructing, putting things back together. Yes, there's a lot of things that are going to have to deconstruct first. But new things are going to come in. Okay, so I really want you to feel this. I'm going to give you a few specific dates here because it's instrumental for you as self-healers, as active energy workers, empaths and so forth, to really see this happening. Okay, so first of all this in conjunction with you perhaps trying to find new ways of making money, trying to work from home, maybe work while you're traveling or whatever, manifesting. This isn't about becoming successful and unleash your power type of thing. Okay, if you want success coaching, you got to go somewhere else. That's third chakra based. That's not fourth. That's not heart based. That's solar plexus based on force, based on overpowering somebody else. Okay, the new paradigm is working in synergy, is working together, cooperating, working on sharing resources so that together we can be more than the sum of both of us. It's not about competing, not about being better, having more fame or whatever, having more money. Because all these issues that I simply laid out here are huge. They involve our entire collective. They need to be resolved for the entire collective. Doesn't matter what nationality we have. It doesn't matter what race we have, what gender, how old we are, how pretty we are, how much money we have. They're going to affect all of us. And so the biggest thing that is holding us back is our preoccupation our beliefs and things such as positions and opinions wanting to be right. You got to let that go. And if you can, then you can very quickly, within 2-3 weeks, figure out a way how to make your living in the future in a different way. Many people will feel this breakthrough manifesting in that way here in May. And if you have been sitting in stagnation, if you felt a little repressed here in April to continue working or holding your focus, then you're going to have to put a conscious effort in May to not drown in that. Okay, so because the first 2 weeks of May, they're going to be very overwhelming in that way, and they're going to pull you into your stagnation. So you're going to have to make a conscious effort to get out of that. And I want to let you know that the time's right around the beginning of the second week of May, so like 6th, 7th, 8th of May. They don't look good. There is a lot of crisis energy in that, okay? Because all this repression is further escalating, and it has to blow out. It has to release somehow. We all know this. So from an energy standpoint, the best way to counteract that is to become a better energy manager, to learn how to regulate your emotions, to learn how to regulate your body, your physical energies, and your mental looping and your ruminating, your critical inner voice. Because then you don't get caught in that. When you get caught in that, that means you get overwhelmed by it too. And you lose it, and you lose your focus, and you keep further stagnating or getting pulled into your ego's darkness, the inner darkness. There's also some beautiful times, there's also some things that, where you actually feel this energy coming forward really well. That's towards the third week of May. There's a very strong harmonizing energy, bringing in a new level of sensuality, a new level of really feeling connected with another. Sometimes this comes through trauma, guys. Remember the time right after September 11th was after the first shock was gone. People started working together. Neighbors came together, helped each other out. There was something that was emerging, and I'm seeing this in May too. So I hope it's not due to something big as September 11th, but it's possible. The end of the month, like right around the full moon, which is 18th of May, but a little bit after that, there is some really critical things that are happening there that are foreshadowing for the whole year of 2020. Okay, so the closer it gets towards the end of the month, you get to watch out not to get pulled into your own trauma. What can you do? The whole month of May is about a new level of awareness, a new level of taking your power back, of freedom, of liberating yourself from these positionalities, from wanting to be right, from all that won't matter anymore, and working together. Harmony, synergy, cooperating, communicating, expressing. At the same time, though, you're going to learn how to silence that negativity in you, that pessimism, that victim voice, that inner negative voice. And you find that through slowing down. That's also how you find your focus and how you can out-vibrate all the collective craziness that is going on. Ultimately, it's about learning that you have more options than you think you have, because when you're caught in your ego, you always see, the end of everything, all or nothing, right or wrong, good or bad, light or dark. But truth is far from it. Truth always presents itself through at least a third option, even if it's just the opposite of what you think is true. That's always an option. So learn that going through pain, facing your fears, all that increases your resilience, and making mistakes also helps you to build this resilience that is needed to evolve. We all need to evolve now. We will, ready or not. Okay, and you can do this consciously through embracing all of that and seeing that all this has been going on all along. Okay, so now is just a moment of working with it finally. Many of you empaths have been feeling this for 20 years, 30 years, and It was terrible because nobody would believe us. And it would just be this subdued feeling. Well, now it's out in the open. Okay. Now we can work with this. You guys have 20, 30 years practice in this. So step up, come out of the woodwork and present to the world all that you have already learned, including the mistakes that you've made. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Evolution happens through correction, guys. Constant correction, constant feedback, and constant correction. I'm wishing you a wonderful May 2019, and I hope that you don't get overwhelmed. You're already here, you're already listening to this, you already know how you can out-vibrate all that by taking charge of your life, by making every choice a conscious choice, feeling truth through your heart, calming your negative inner voice, mindfulness, meditation, and learning that there are no mistakes. Trust in that self-corrective ability that you have that comes in just through divine creation that we all are, and make an effort to live in harmony with this. My mantra for May is, I grant myself the freedom to choose my own karma, past, present, and future, hinting at out-vibrating collective karma. And here are the challenges for May that energetic tune-up session brought forward. Fear of rejection, fear of making mistakes. It will trigger a lot of self-worth issues in us, guys. And it will force us to become more real. And I want to point out to those of you who are already sort of standing in this new world, in this new paradigm a little bit, those of you who've been straddling two worlds, you're going to have to become more concrete, guys. May is the day, is the month of retirement planning, of financial planning, of business planning, of developing a clear strategy how you're going to do this. You can't be diddle-daddling around anymore. You're going to get swept away by all this stuff. And if you don't know exactly how to do this, then again, go into your true passion. You can feel it. It's what drives you. It's like what gives you energy. Expressing yourself is not something that costs you energy, that drains you. It's something that provides for you. Going into that inner silence, using all these techniques, these modalities that you've already learned, that allow you to out-vibrate your ego, that allow you to face your fears, to transcend what you're holding on to. That needs to come to an expression now. That can't be just a theoretical thing anymore. You have to step into self-responsibility. Nobody else is going to do this for you. It's all about freely expressing yourself, and that can mean, telling people off and telling people what doesn't work for you. And you don't have to have fixes. You don't have to have resolutions. It can mean to talk to yourself, to your true self, and come to an agreement. Make a promise to your true self. It's about stepping up into your self-responsibility. The world isn't conspired to hold you back. The world is way too busy to hold us back. Don't let others tell you who you are and what you can do. Self-worth is definitely something that you're going to have to face this month. Always ask yourself, what is this doing to my energy? That is the way to finding out if things are true to us. And again, here, true in the sense of conducive, life-promoting, increasing, expanding my energy. Or is it contracting? That's the new paradigm. No, whether it's right or wrong, who cares? What was wrong yesterday is right today. What was right yesterday is wrong today. It's an illusion of the ego. Go by what is life-promoting, love-enhancing, truth-spreading, truth-expressing, and self-propelling. Go into corporations with others. Stop doing your isolated, single fighter, the world against me thing, and bring that which you need to bring to the world. Bring it out now, because that's when we need it. Concludes our discussion here. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for being here.
What makes our time so challenging is the increasing energetic sensitivity we are currently developing. For many energetically sensitive people, planetary or collective shifts can feel like something isn't quite right. We are more connected than we think we are. The feeling of not belonging to this craziness around you is not because you are not good enough for this world. It's because your heart is prompting you to opt out of this global darkness and begin to live your life as a true self. this area of deeper inner work, there are no rules, no levels to level up to, no guidelines. We become able to stay energetically calm when corrections are needed, and we know how to raise our energy when we are low. We embrace owning who we truly are, and most importantly, we become able to sail through darkness with ease and provide a grounding rod for others. The new paradigm for human evolution from now on is, I only follow what feels nourishing, expanding, and true to me and my environment. It strengthens your inner connection and your connection to the light within, the beacon of your divine existence, and with it, the realization of yourself as an energetic being.